and go ahead and get my Facebook profile going. All right, looks like we are live here, guys. Hey, Peppermint, appreciate you getting in there early. It took me a few minutes to get everything set up here. Let's get everything flowing, of course. All right, guys. So I decided to skip running today. I've been hitting over 5 miles on all my non-lifting days. My glutes and hamstring, my left glute, left hamstring is just killing me the last couple days. So I'm going to skip running, but interestingly enough, squatting today took all the pain out. Like it's a little bit just tender to the touch. It felt a little stiff when I tried to pull, so I didn't really deadlift today. So I'm going to skip running. I think for now on the lifting days, I'm going to try to hit 5+ miles all my non-lifting days in the morning, but I'm going to run fresh. Getting, like I said, it's a little bit of overuse happening. Like I said, my run times and running distance have come up really, really fast. You know, in less than 3 weeks, I started hitting 5 miles, or actually over 5 miles every day. A little bit much, right? A little bit much. Do you use any fat burners? No, I don't use any fat burners of any type. Fake Nags have done YouTube for 50 years, basically the duration of YouTube fitness, pretty much, brother. And I think we all understand that at this point, unfortunately. You know, the nature of the game, it is what it is. Yep, that is very much the case. And unfortunately, not much we can do about it, is there? And I may try to do 2 of these because I'm going to skip running this morning to let everything heal up and recover. So I may do 2 of these just to get enough cardio in while I'm still fasting. But yeah, Peppermint, we're live, dude. Do you not see it, Peppermint? Ernie says, hey, coach. All right. But yeah, Southern, unfortunately, that is the case. I have to refresh the live. I was in the lobby. Okay, gotcha, Peppermint. Well, that does happen, I guess, man. But yeah, so to get enough cardio in, I might try to do 2 of these. You know, I hammered a whole bunch of informative videos. I still got like 70 of them sitting around. I feel like I'm probably kicking too many out. Not really getting the traffic that I want. It's given that the total traffic doesn't really improve, it doesn't change. Like whether I upload 2 or 6 or 7, my total daily views on average stay the same. So probably too much. But again, I feel like a little more lives would be good right now and everything. But I like these double lives. All right, so I feel like hammer and push right now. Good morning, Paul. How you doing? But tell them, man. Tell them, smash that like. So I think on the non-lifting days like today, or the lifting days, I need to just chill with the running, right? It's getting to be a little too much in terms of recovery. And it's not my knees. That's funny because I'm running shoeless. So it really is kind of the calf. My left calf felt like it got some overuse and it spread up through the hamstring. I could barely walk yesterday after the run. And then this morning, and then I did squats. And now it feels good, but I don't want to tempt it. It's kind of like just because it feels good all of a sudden, I think maybe the lifting days we need to chill. We can do box work. We can do sled work. I'm going to have to adjust some stuff with the beltless squats. I feel like today I got a good idea looking at how it looked and how it felt. I'm just going too wide. For beltless squats, I need to come way in. Because I went and looked at some of my footage, when I've hit 470 up to about 500 on that type of squat in the past, and my stance was actually very narrow. So for me, the wide stance squat really only works when I've got a belt on. So something I can adjust based on what happened today, that I'm trying to push the beltless stuff. And the same thing, the dumbbells, I'm still not able to lock out yet. So I think I'm going to just replace that with incline for a short bit. So we'll flat bench and incline really hard and keep working on recovery with that bicep and the shoulder until I have the range of motion restored. Then I think I'll try to work overhead pressing. Do you have your power rack bolted? No. And you can't move it. It's so heavy. So because I have those extension arms on it, if you look at it, so not only have extra weight plates like the small plates on the sides, I have those extension arms on it that go like another 3 feet, and they're on the back side of it. You literally can't tip it. You can't even move it, right? It takes 2 people to even move it. Thoughts on the individuals who are natural on YouTube? Do you think they have any impact? Who are they? I don't think that's really a thing. Let's just be realistic. Do you really think anyone's making their money in YouTube fitness who's natty? And I'll just leave it at that. I mean, even just because I like them or whatever, I mean, realistically, I think it's a nonsense idea to really think that it's not pretty much just all, at least modestly enhanced people. I mean, you just have to be serious about it. Even people who I want to give credit to, like guys like Nippard, pretty much straight up endorsed a very obvious fake natty the other day as natural, right? So, you know, that even throws any chance of him into question. It's just like, wow, dude, if you're going to defend fake naturals, obvious fake naturals, what does that say about you? You know, therein lay the problem. So probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I saw Nippard got a lot. He should get heat for that. Of course he should get heat for that. Why shouldn't he? Of course he should. I mean, I've got heat for way less. I get heat for way less than that. So of course he should get heat. The stuff I get heat over, for him to get up and straight up endorse, scientifically try to endorse an obvious fake natural who trains, who's weak and lazy, really, looking like that. Man, you know, let's talk about lighting someone up for straight up lying and you know, fraud. Jeff is really, really short. Keep that in mind. All right. But I think what people forget with the fat-free mass index, and this is what I throw out there when people run those numbers. Anytime you see someone who they think they were above 25, their body fat is higher than people are calculating it at, right? But even fat-free mass index, most steroid users are under 25. Like, again, if you remember that data looking at gear users, the average was still 24 and a half. Keep that in mind. Just because someone's on gear doesn't mean they're going to be over a 25 fat-free mass index. And I think people aren't understanding the scale of the amount of stuff people use. I don't think they understand how diverse the doses are. They really don't. You know, not when lots of guys who are enhanced never go over 500 milligrams. And then you have guys who use 5,000, 8,000, 10,000. You know what I mean? We're not just talking a little bit more. You're talking literally the casual, more modest user, even someone who compete, don't go over 500. And you literally guys admitting to 5,000 and 10,000. There's your context. That's an enormous difference. Yeah, plenty of guys are on gear don't look like they lift. Right? And they're weak oftentimes, you know, so definitely a genetic response component. I think that goes away, peppermint, as soon as they get really lean, though, to be fair. Usually the guys, if they don't look like they lift, it's a body fat thing on top of it. Almost anybody who's on a significant amount, if they get down to 10% body fat, they're going to look like they lift. Right? So a lot of times that's the case. It's people who haven't gained that much size, but then they're also at, 22% body fat. A little bit different. You almost invariably see that anytime some dude shreds down lean who's on gear, it's blaringly obvious they're on gear. Good caveat, coach. You're right about exactly. Because even if they drop down to a light body weight, when you see a guy who's blasting gear and he cuts down to 9% body fat, even if he's 170 pounds, you know what I mean? It's totally different. Yeah, that's when it stands out at that point. They're going to look like they lift. So again, usually it's the case of they're still too fat and boofy, and they haven't gained a lot of size. Hit that like button though, guys. We got a lot of people commenting, only 4 likes. Let's get those likes up. All right, let's get those likes up. So I got a guy inquiring about another consultation. I got to answer that. That's money. All right. Jason, from your time in the UK, who were the best powerlifters? I don't know how to really answer that. Like, I'm horrible with names. I bet dudes breaking records all over the place. I literally competed and judged at national championship. So pretty much everybody who was at nationals. A lot. I don't know how to even narrow that down. Tom Martin. Okay, let me rephrase that. Yeah, Tom Martin, definitely. What do you think about touch and go deadlift training? I don't endorse it. I don't do it. I think it's a good way to really hurt your back unless you really know. Absolutely. How do I put this? If you're not an elite deadlifter with perfect, beautiful technique, and I'm talking elite, like if you only deadlift 550 pounds as a male, you got no business even messing with it. So, because I want to make that caveat, because I do have some friends who are 800 and 900 pound deadlifters who are like, I do mess with some touch and go, very careful technique. So they're the exception. Generally speaking, if you're someone who needs to ask for any sort of deadlift advice, you have no business doing touch and go. It is purely injury risk for you. Now, if your technique is perfect and you deadlift over 700 pounds, it can be a viable tool, maybe. All right. If you're natty and you look like you lift, you're doing well. Yeah, pretty much peppermint. Gary Gallagher is very impressive, seeing him bench press and incline 315. I've never seen Keno body incline 315. Are you sure about that? And he obviously was using quite a bit of stuff in his prime. He's real big on DHT-based drugs. Like, he was very much like a Master on a Prima Bolin type guy when he was at his peak, like on YouTube, right? He was a little younger. You could tell he was really big on those DHT-based steroids. From what I understand, per capita, more Brits are serious about training. Most modern British society don't consider positive, but they take lifting. I don't know about that, maybe. How long would it take to learn to squat? Not long. Not long. All right. A lot of nuance to squatting, though. Even for me, like messing with going beltless again, I'm having to completely change my squat style again. Like the wider stance is not working. I got to go back in close. But that's usually where I'm strongest without a belt. From what I understand, per capita, more Brits are serious about training. I'm sorry to do that. Hey, Coach, what's the hypothesis on DHA supplementation, or can it raise it? I don't think you should be supplementing DHEA at all, Tyron. Where can I hire someone to learn to squat? I'm a coach. You can message me on Facebook if you want to learn to squat. Right? All right, it's probably enough for the profile here. Learning about fitness is such a minefield. Yeah, it can be. There's so much bad information, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that is the case. What's your hourly rate? It's $250 a month for coaching. I mean, if you want 1 hour non-client calls, it's $100 for 1 hour call. But that is if you're not going for coaching, you just want a single call, single 1 hour consultation call. Is $100. But if you want full month-to-month coaching, it's $250. I mean, there's a client in here right now. Paul's a client. Ted comes through a lot. He's a client. You have several clients who come through here regularly. Peppermint says you came to the right place to learn to squat. Kingdale Clark, Jason Lee Priest says you can say quite opposite. Overtraining isn't real and that the body simply adjusts. Provably false statement. So this is something that is literally diagnosed by medical doctors as an actual medical condition called overtraining syndrome. So basically, Lee Priest has been disproven by medical doctors. People need to stop listening to his goofy ass. He used to get fat, ate junk food, has face tattoos. Just stop. I don't know what to tell you for martial arts. You need to go to a fighting channel. I can't help you. Sorry, dude. It's not my forte. You should probably go to a martial arts channel to ask you fighting questions. Will most people see better gains back squatting 400 pounds for 5 or front squatting? Back squats are generally going to be overall slightly better. Front squats are oftentimes more limited by your rack position than your legs. What's the good indicator that someone is strong naturally? They come over and deadlift 405 without ever having deadlifted before. Usually a good idea. You know, right? Someone who wants to pulls 350, 400 or whatever their first day in the gym is a good sign they're naturally strong. CT has preached the same thing. No such thing as overtraining as well. I do respect them, but yeah, they're dead wrong. No, Lee Priest, what? Thanks for answering. Would you agree with many? Say though in his prime, Lee Priest had a wonderful. No, he looked like a midget. Why would you think any modern bodybuilder has an aesthetic? Because he can please note, I'm not claiming to be aesthetic, but objectively speaking, modern bodybuilders are not aesthetic, and he wasn't either. Right? Hey man, maybe stop listening to people who say overtraining is a myth. That's terrible advice. Agreed, man. So sorry, let me rephrase that. English isn't my number one language. Is compound training the best? You're talking about training with big exercises? Yes, that will be best. What? Barefooters? What are you talking about, sir? My Native American roots? What? Very strange. I wouldn't describe myself as having Native American roots. I supposedly have a very, very tiny, tiny amount of Cherokee ancestry. It's probably not enough to matter. Coach, do you group exercises like Captains of Crush have any carryover to big combos? I find that they don't, and I own several Captains of Crush groupers. What's your definition? Go back to classic bodybuilding, golden era, bronze era, silver era, golden era bodybuilders were aesthetic. After that, they're not at all. 99% of us would rather look like a D1 or NFL wide receiver than a bodybuilder, right? Jason, many say that Frank Zane, there we go, to answer the question the guy just asked. When he was competing, had the ideal, almost perfect physique. Do you agree? I would agree with that. That would be an example of aesthetic. Yeah, Steve Reeves, those are examples of aesthetic. Right? Yeah, Steve Reeves would definitely be. I can deadlift 4 or 5 without much effort, but I can barely get 455 off the floor. There are ancillary exercises that can help. I haven't seen your deadlift. I can't help you without assessing your deadlift firsthand. I think it's subjective to a point. Is aesthetics? I don't think that it is. No, we have actual golden mean ratios. We have the work of the ancient Greeks in terms of aesthetics. No, I think that we can pretty clearly determine what most people are going to consider to be aesthetic. What does the word aesthetic mean? Beautiful or attractive? So if you were to take Lee Priest, using the example, and show him to the average person, to the average woman, would they say he has a really beautiful body? Because that's what the word aesthetic means. It means beautiful, appealing to the eye. So you were to go show that to them. Nanny-ish, if I only earned $50,000 a year, I would be homeless. I can't pay my bills on that. So I'm going to go with the 400 kilo deadlift. Okay. You know, if you get confidence walking in the grocery store, you're aesthetic, probably. I do, but I don't know that I'm aesthetic. What's your most affordable coaching package? I don't offer, well, my most affordable is to not get coaching, is to diet adherence. That's only $100 a month. If you just need diet adherence with no training, it's $100. I don't look at your lifts. I don't program. But my normal coaching that involves your actual training, it's the same price. It's $250 a month. Michelangelo's David, what do you think about people who can claim that one can develop a good physique using only a chest expander? That sounds crazy. Who is more juicy, Jeff Nichols over GBS uses plenty of gear? Maybe some chicks love an ogre more, but it doesn't mean that he's aesthetic. I understand. Good morning, Ryan. Oh, good morning, Hank. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even check Facebook. I've been busy on the YouTube. How you doing, guys? Yeah, Frank Zane was 100 or 185. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Hank. Appreciate you guys dropping through the Facebook stream. So, but I mean, again, the point is Frank Zane had a very aesthetic physique by pretty much anyone's standards. Jason, did you ever own a chest expander? No, I don't see the point. Richard, I'm not jogging today. I put up a Facebook status. No, dude, my hamstring DOMs. I'm going to chill on the jogging on the lifting days and keep hitting 5+ miles on the non-lifting. My hamstrings and left calf are just lit up. They feel good after squatting now, and they feel perfectly fine, but I was hobbling. I'm like, I'm not going to run today. I probably don't need to run more than about 4 days a week, honestly. I've been pushing it really hard, and it's on the edge of overuse. I need to listen to my body. You know, we're getting better and better run times, but I've got to have days off from running. Yeah, looking good, brother. Appreciate it, man. You already know why I shaved my beard off. We covered this in vast detail. All right. My psoriasis gets out of control. I have to shave. I can't have a beard. I have to keep the head completely shaved. I just have to. Is the ground hot when you're, depends on what time of day I run. I mean, it's reasonable. I mean, it's a little hot sometimes. But, I mean, it is Texas heat out there while we're doing it. You know, we got that Texas heat. My feet feel good now. They were, like I said, they were a little rough last night. The hamstring was bad. So like I said, I think 4 days is enough. You know, as long as I'm hitting 20, 25 miles a week at first, I think we're good. And then I could build up again. Have you read about a diet about psoriasis? I'm very intimately familiar with all the history of psoriasis and diets. I've tried a lot of approaches. No, nightshade vegetables don't help at all. Sun is supposed to technically help, by the way. Do you use sunscreen? No, I don't use sunscreen. No. From what I've seen, you endorse fasting carbohydrate. Yeah, I've intermittent fast year round. I've been doing it for years. I've been intermittent fasting for years. I prefer training fasted. I do all my cardio fasted. I have about a 4 to 5 hour feed window in the afternoon. Hey, King Dale, that is not a fitness related question. Yep. Okay, good. As long as you understand. Like, I don't know, you should maybe go to a therapy channel for that. This is Jason Blaha, Strength and Fitness, if you read the title of the YouTube. All right. Jason Blaha, Strength and Fitness. My advice would be to get your old ass to the gym and get under a heavy barbell. I don't feel that I need neck lifts. No, I didn't injure my neck. No, I've never considered an assault bike. Should I put one on the Amazon wish list to see if one of you guys want to buy it? So Atomic, you know the rule. Everyone knows the rule. If you ever suggest that I might need any particular object, then I assume you're offering to purchase it for me. And so do I need to put it on the Amazon wish list? Because last time someone mentioned an Apple Watch, I said, hey, great, I'll go put it on the wish list, and they still ain't bought it. So I don't know why people are suggesting possessions and training devices that they're not ready to buy for me. So do I need to add one to my Amazon wish list, and are you going to buy it for me? I'll consider it if you purchase one for me. All right. That's the rule. Jason, do you think IF down regulates calorie expenditure? No, why would it? You almost can't anyways. Look at even the newest data on starvation and then reintroducing calories and stuff now. Squatting or deadlifting, most personal trainers lack real education expertise. Where can someone go find a qualified coach if they can't hire you or they need to? I don't know. So if they can't hire me, then they can't hire a coach. I mean, my slots aren't all full, so I don't know why you would think that's a problem. And as far as, so you mean not online? I don't know where you live. I can't help you find a coach in your city. I mean, you could pay me a consultation to help you find a coach, but that would be $100 from us for my hour time. And we could look for a qualified coach together during your call. But Peppermint, you said it's tough economic times. So if they can't, do you see the problem? It's tough out there. So if they can't hire you, where do they find one? Well, they don't have money. No one's going to coach them. They can't. Hey, King Deal, how about I don't answer questions that will be used against me to call me a racist? How's that for an answer? Like, do you not see that I'm a fairer skinned, middle-aged white dude? Do you really think that me answering that sort of question will do anything other than get me death threats? So why the fuck would you even ask it? I'm dead serious. Like, why would you think that you should ask me that and that I should answer it in a recording that people can remix? Do you hate me? No, I'm not going to answer questions on if different races of people can gain muscle at higher rates. You clearly hate me. No, I mean, to even ask that question and expect me to answer it, you clearly hate me. Think that through for a moment. Keep in mind the amount of flack I get over anything I say, right? Use a little common sense, brother. Home of the assessed, I work out early in the mornings, fasted, and I don't eat until 12. Any negatives? That's pretty much what I do. Prolonged periods. Yeah, but if you're getting plenty of protein during that window, you're good. Have you ever done in-person coaching? Yeah, I've done plenty of it. I don't currently do it. Coach, that is wild to ask you that. We've come to expect that. I know. He doesn't think through these questions before he asks them. Like, come on, dude. Like, don't ask me anything to where the answer could be perceived as racist in some way. Let's just not do this. All right. All right. The reason he went in timeout, obvious troll, because at no point ever on my channel with her training was her middle name ever used. So only trolls use the middle name. See how easy that is to spot? Her first name was always used in all the vlogs for my ex-girlfriend. Obvious troll. Because only the trolls call her by her middle name. All right. Side salad at 47. After I do intense training, I get intense cramps in my abs and hamstrings. Yeah, so you might want to change the exercises you're doing. Check your electrolyte and hydration status. Right? Be my advice. Right. I think people who ask certain things don't realize there's things that they would not get from my channel. They would only get from watching hate and troll channels. And it's really easy to pick out. I'm the assistant. You for answering your 220. Awesome, man. Hey, you're most welcome, dude. Maybe we can all agree that worldwide McDonald's isn't the healthiest for all cultures. I think we can agree with that. I think we can all agree junk food is bad for everybody. Yeah, they expose themselves without realizing it. It's like, because see, she was always used by her first name on my channel, not her middle name. All right, next. And I need to drop it because I did give a promise I wouldn't discuss her at all. I gave a promise to a close friend of mine who's a mutual friend. So we need to move on from that. All right. What else we got, guys? Why is the mic always turned down? I don't know why the mic gets turned down automatically during these. I hate having to reset it all the time. Side Seller, thanks for answering my questions. I used to think your expertise was questionable, but your lists are impressive, and I think you're the latest you've been on YouTube. Appreciate it, man. So he's asking about how do you know their lifts, their clientele. There is no such thing as a qualification or a degree or certification. You're looking purely at experience, client results, because there are no certs that matter. Like the most extreme coaching cert is called a CSCS, and I have personally met coaches with a CSCS who can't coach their way out of a wet paper bag, and they don't have a single 500-pound squatter. Let me state that again. I know people who have a CSCS who still have not successfully coached a single person to a 500-pound roll squat. The CSCS requires you to have a master's degree and to go through the certifications for a strength and conditioning cert. And then they still can't coach after all that. So, my opinion on it. And I have friends who have one who are good coaches, and they're like, honestly, it was a waste of money and time. Like, I learned more coaching than I did from any of it. It's just a piece of paper that some places want you to have. So no, their track record, as Arsenio said. That's it. Are they producing strong lifters? That's how you know if they're a good strength coach. That's what you have to work with. Not even always about their own results. It's about, are they producing strong athletes? Because, I mean, they might be a genetic freak on lots of drugs and be really strong. Doesn't mean they can teach anybody. All right. So that's what you have to go on. Yep. And injured. Yeah, I mean, injuries are occasionally going to happen, but you want to see a very low injury rate, yes. If you have to look how many 500-pound squatters, yep. And I produced quite a few of both of those over the years with footage online. Although let's not use the 600, that's going to upset Justin. Because we got him past a 500 squat, we never quite got a 600. He got 590 on the 600, he missed 600. He'd get kind of pissed if you drop that standard on him. All right, there we go, 580. I've definitely produced, how many 600-pound pullers have I put on camera? About 5, 600 plus. It's not everyone can get to a 600, to be fair. And I hate to have to say that. I don't think genetically everyone can get to a 600 deadlift. I'm just going to be honest. You know, I think every man can get to a 500 with enough time and coaching. I think a genetically average guy can. 600, you know. Yeah, I mean, we have to realize, though, there's going to be limits. Like, you're going to have a threshold to where, look, there are going to be certain strength numbers you're never going to get to with certain guys. You know, granted, unless they blast enough gear, hypothetically. But even then, I know plenty of dudes on plenty of gear who've never pulled 600. And I've coached guys in well into the 600 who are completely clean. You kind of see the difference, see what I mean? There's a genetic difference there. And we have to accept that with strength. There's going to be leverages and things like that. Some guys just don't have the structure right. Here's the thing, I mean, tall guys, let's just call it, as we all know, guys who are 6'3" and taller. Who's most likely to pull over 600 drug free? Guys over about 6'2" to 6'3". Yep, that's the guy who's going to probably hit a 600 drug free with enough work or more. Yeah. Same with the 4 or 5 bench press, especially close grip. Yeah. I've had a client pull over 600 and bench over 400 natural. But he was tall. He was 6'5". You know what I mean? He was 6'5", walking around at like 270. I mean, that's not your average dude. He was Eastern European, you know. So, yeah. Like I said, 6'5" at 270 pounds. Really good programming. I think I put up him doing a 550 deadlift for 10 reps once on camera. Yeah, that guy was drug free, but he's also structurally and genetically a freak, right? So can I take full credit for my amazing coaching? No, dude was a freak. Now, I gave him good instruction, and he built a lot of his base following my stuff for years before that, but, you know, free genetics. My God had the guy doing gear, just imagine, because he was doing IPF, so he wanted to stay clean. You know. What's your thoughts on Zercher squats? This is on Facebook. Well, I think back squats are generally better, but I think sport specificity, man, if you grapple or wrestle, I think Zercher squats can be a really good exercise. Like if you didn't have access to a squat rack, maybe I think Zerchers would be okay. Like my feelings have changed over the years on Zerchers. I think they're a good exercise. I just feel like they're going to limit your legs as a primary. Coach, you're looking pretty thick. Thank you, man. But I think definitely, like, let's say, I do feel like a back squat is going to be better overall development, particularly your legs. I'm just going to call it like it is. But as far as just developing full body strength or say grappling, like let's say you do BJJ or judo or wrestling, you know, I think a Zercher squat can bring a lot to the table for those type of athletes. So how's that for fair? True coach, guys who pull 600, 700 often just plain strong no matter what they do. Yeah. Have you had clients who bench 400 under 200? No, I've never had a client do that. Doug benched 365, hit 180. Doug did, client Doug. I think he did 355 in comp. We weren't able to get the 365 in comp because we did a small water cut. But he did 365 in the gym at 180. But as far as under 200 benching, no, I've never had one. My lightest guy who I've ever had bench 400 plus was 210. And he was like 5'6", 5'7", maybe. I think he was 5'6", weighing 210 with abs. He benched over 400. But he also had over a 600 squat. So I put his 615 up on camera at one time. That was Perry. But no, I've never coached anyone benching 400 at under 200 body weight. When do you introduce pen press or rack press? Usually just conjugate guys generally. I generally don't do those outside of conjugate with clients. I feel like they beat up joints, beat up equipment for no benefit unless you need them. It's like a max effort rotation. I mean, I've done them while running conjugate myself on camera. I mean, Ted does them sometimes. I've had Ted do a pen bench. I see them as just a conjugate lift. To be fair, I don't think that in terms of building necessarily all that. I mean, maybe for someone who sticks just off the chest, but I mean, honestly, I could make a case for just doing an incline bench. Is a hypertrophy tool for fixing that same weak link, and incline will do the same job. So I get what people are saying as far as using it as an assistance for certain weak point training, but won't an incline do the same thing? Just get real strong at incline. It'll give you that same carryover you're looking for. At least my opinion, says me. I mean, that's kind of my thing with the incline. I always say, man, show me a guy who's got a strong incline, and he's going to have a strong raw bench. Right? We all agree? I mean, hell, perfect example, Doug. Doug was crazy strong on the incline. I mean, granted, we did a 30 degree. It wasn't a 45, but at a 30 degree incline, he got a 325 one time. He hit 315 a couple different times. Think about that. 325 pause incline. Even a 30 degree. It wasn't a 45. It was a 30. Granted, that's a little easier, but still. Of course, he benched double his body weight. Yeah, he benched 365. He had short arms, but he also, think how strong his back was too. I had Doug at one time crank out, I think the best pull-up we did. Granted, he's 180, but he did 2 plates, so 90 pounds for 5 reps on a pull-up before. We got him up to that at one time. So he had really strong lats, shorter arms, strong as hell incline. But he had that power out of the bottom, right? Because of that incline. Because think about, people think of that. So with the pen press, right? You're looking at, you want it just below your sticking point, right? About an inch below where you stick. But that's usually your transition point. What happens to the bar path? It's your transition point just off the chest. The bar drifts towards the face, right at that transition. It almost at that point for a moment replicates an incline very briefly until it restabilizes through that J-shaped curve. You get real strong at incline and you'll blast through that sticking point. Right? Doug trained a lot. He's trained over a decade. But I mean, I took Doug from, okay, so Doug, we did an interview. We did a Skype call. Doug still posts on my Facebook all the time, by the way. He's running his own coaching business now. So I'm not coaching him. He's a coach too at this point. He's running a successful coaching business. So Doug had said when people were saying, oh, he's better than you at benching, he should be coaching you. And Doug flat out told people in comments and even said in the Skype, he goes, dude, I was stuck at a 305 bench when I hired Jason. He took me from a 305 to a 365 in like a year and a half. It took me less than 2 years to get him there. He had never benched 315. He had failed 315 every time he tried it. I got him to 315 within 6 weeks. He had been trying to get it for 2 years. Okay. We ended up getting him all the way to 365 in the gym and 355 on the platform in the 181. His first meet. Right? So, but man, once he got strong on incline, he was explosive off the chest. He would blast right through that sticking point. So that's a perfect example. That same thing you're trying to use the pen press for, the incline can do the same thing. Plus, then dudes talk about having a good physique. Show me a guy who can incline 315, who's lean enough to have abs, who doesn't have an aesthetic physique generally. You know, unless they're big and bulky, you know, but you know what I mean. They're going to have a good physique. Is it true that CrossFit athletes do not do CrossFit? They don't do the normal WODs and stuff now. They still do a lot of obviously hyper training, but no, they're not necessarily doing the same CrossFit stuff in the box, right? A lot of them don't. They do specialized training to get good at overall strength conditioning and CrossFit. Also, are all you guys following me on Facebook? Facebook is, for those of you on the YouTube, because Facebook, obviously, I'm running both right now. Hey, man, everyone who doesn't follow me on Facebook in here, reach over and follow me on Facebook. From not being able to bench 315 to incline 325. We got 325 one time for him. We did pull it off once, but then he benched 365 like within that same month. What is Doug coaching? Mostly women. He runs coaching in a personal training business. I think he said most of his clients are women, actually, just general fitness. So he's not coaching powerlifting. All right. So he's pretty much mostly a women's trainer. Yeah. Apparently it's working out pretty well for him. Yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wind this one down. I'm going to go ahead and do another one later. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you next time.